A voice from the crowd suddenly cried out, "Wait a minute, isn't that our Luna?" All eyes turned towards me, surprise and recognition lighting up the faces of the pack members. I had already made up my mind to go back to the academy because it was obvious that I wasn't wanted in Tristan's pack. I don't want to imagine how horrible the whole situation would be if Harold were involved. At this moment, my greatest objective was to feel at ease, and Kyra could have her son all to herself because he was such a precious gem. I hastily completed my task and rolled my box outside the room. I could already picture Kyra's face plastered with a smile and even Allison knowing that the source of their insomnia was going to end permanently. During difficult times, mates were meant to be the reliable rocks you can cling on. The other half completes you, but these ones were nothing but added headaches, which I couldn't tolerate. When I exited the house, I saw a Maybach parked outside and Tristan came out. After taking my bag, he ordered me, "Get into the car, Alexia." "Tristan, I'm not going back to your pack again. I want nothing to do with you or your pack. Go back to your girlfriend or your mother, anybody but me." I cried out in frustration as the images of him making out with Allison replayed in my head. "Look, Lexi," he said as he took a step back and sighed. "I'm sorry, I'd like to make amends, but you won't give me a chance. I'm not taking you back. I want to take you to a luxurious suite where you can chill and we can have a talk." I shook my head and said, "I don't want to talk with you any longer. Just leave me alone. I'm tired of these things. I need rest. But you are my Omega, and nothing can happen to you. My mind won't be at ease. Lexi, please. You know how much I care about you. I just made a mistake and am trying to make amends. At least spend a day with me and I won't stop you from leaving if it turns out to be a nightmare." If I was being honest with myself, the academy had few to no students back there, and I didn't want King Zach to find out that I was all alone. He may take advantage of me and make everything worse. I couldn't imagine a worse fate than living in the academy, so I had no choice but to accept my best option. Finally, I nodded my head in agreement and said, "Okay, just a day and nothing more. I'll leave at the slightest hint of annoyance." "Anything you say, Muffin," he said huskily, sending thrills down my spine. "I promise you won't regret this." He reassured me as he took my box and placed it in the car boot. I shrugged as I waited for him to open the passenger door, and just as he was about to, the devil, I intended to say his mother and father emerged from the house. Kyra was filled with contempt, and I knew she wouldn't let me leave with her son. "What's going on?" she asked, her arms folded. "Where are you taking her?" "We are leaving the pack, Mother." "Leaving? The vacation is not over yet, unless you want to drop this Omega off, which isn't an appropriate thing to do as an alpha," she added. "She's not just an Omega, Mother. She's my mate," he pointed out. She ignored his statement and proceeded to convey what was on her mind. "Can't the driver take her to the academy? Why are you doing it? Tristan, act like one and quit allowing this insignificant thing to influence you." She spat out her words like venom from her mouth. "Mom, I'm taking her on vacation." It got worse when he declared, "We're not going back to the academy." She was clearly unable to shake the panic and anxiety that had gripped her, the stress of not knowing what might happen to him while he was away. It seemed as if a part of her was ready to depart and never return. She was unhappy just thinking about it, and she couldn't conceal the misery in her eyes as she stared at Tristan. "What are you talking about, Tristan? Are you about to abandon your mother? I haven't seen you in a long time, and instead of spending the entire holiday with me, you chose to spend it with your mate. What happened to you, son? Has she enchanted you?" she screamed. "We're back to emotional blackmailing. I couldn't bear to see it. I'm not going to let you go. You have to stay," she commanded him while clutching him strongly. Tristan gazed at his mother with his fists clenched. "Mom, this is not the appropriate moment for this. Nothing will make me change my mind. I can no longer put up with your disrespect toward my mate. We have to go." His voice had a frigid tone and was devoid of emotion. "You have no right to stop me from being with her. You don't understand how I feel about her. I won't let my love for her be controlled by anyone, not even you." He took a deep breath before continuing. "I won't let anyone hurt my mate, and I won't let anyone dictate who I can and can't love." I noticed tears streaming down her face. She looked so sad, and I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for her. Kyra walked up to him, her hands shaking as she reached out to hold his face. She tried to seek empathy from her son, but he remained unmoved by her distress. It was as though his anger had made him blind to the pain of those around him. Despite her best efforts to convince him, Kyra could sense the growing distance between them, a gulf that seemed impossible to bridge. Please don't do this to me, Tristan. I carried you for 9 months and you choose the Alpha King's rejected mate over me. It's not right, she remarked. He took a step back and carefully removed her hand from his face. I'm sorry, Mother, but my heart longs for her. Vulnerability in his voice and the moment that he locked eyes with me made me melt hard. It was as if he had laid bare his soul before me, and I couldn't help but feel a surge of emotions wash over me. Maybe he truly cared after all. He grabbed my hand and opened the car door before I got in. He got into his car after saying farewell to his mom and drove away. After what had happened, it would be extremely difficult to win Kyra's heart. If I don't end up with Tristan, I won't have to worry about that. You should have chosen her over me, I said to break the silence in the car. She's your mom. She has to get over it, he said, his gaze fixed on the road. She will, and she will do so very soon. What do you mean? I said, my brow furrowed. She's only that way because my elder brother was murdered by his mate. My heart sank as Tristan revealed the reason for his mother's behavior. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It appeared as though a heavy, dark fog had come over us and was suffocating us. My thoughts were racing, and I was having a hard time understanding how serious the situation was. It hurt my heart to see the sorrow etched in his expression as I looked into his eyes. The more I pondered it, the more questions I had, and the more mystified it all seemed. I listened to him speak. The way his voice broke told me how much he missed his brother. I had no idea, and it made me understand that aside from the well-known truth that Tristan was a playboy, I was unaware of his other side, and he wouldn't be as open about it if he didn't care. She used to be so adventurous, the nicest soul ever, to the point where his mate's rank didn't matter to her, he said. Troy brought a wounded rogue home when I was 18, and my mother accepted her with open arms because she wanted to support her son. She never once questioned her or attempted to make her feel less like a true wolf. If she was happy about anything, it was to see them fall in love, I observed as his hold on the driving wheel tightened and he inhaled deeply before continuing. Little did we know that she was nothing but a spy sent by the rogue king to destroy our pack, or rather kill the Alpha, he confessed, knowing that no one would ever wish to lose a loved one, especially after having trusted an enemy broke my heart. Sometimes I wish that I could have done something to protect him. Why did the goddess grant him a mate that was going to be the end of him? The pain was clear in the tone of his voice as well as his demeanor. I'm sincerely sorry about what happened. It must have been hard for her and every member of the pack to lose their Alpha. I am sure that he's in a better place now and his murderer would surely be punished by the goddess in the afterlife. I spoke in a tone that was tinged with sympathy. The betrayal was devastating, and it could have been avoided if they had known about her genuine intentions sooner. He shook his head and sighed. Yeah, it was. It still feels like yesterday, and it hurts every time I realize that I won't see him till the afterlife. Sometimes I question the goddess about the reason for bad things happening to good things. His death was like a dark cloud that hovered above us for months. I became so suffocated with how strict my mother was. I reached out to touch his arm and rubbed it slightly. Please, accept my condolences. It is indeed a heavy burden to bear. I just hate that she had to extend it to you. You didn't deserve any of that back there, he stated. Yeah, especially the part of being constantly reminded that I was once a property of King Zach. Wasn't your fault. We all have our demons to deal with after all. My mom just needs to chill a little, he added. To be fair, I understand from her perspective. She's scared of losing another son. You are the only one that she has at this point. Anybody related to King Zach was deemed as dangerous or all the bad things that life has to offer, I pointed out. His eyes softened as he glanced at me. I don't see you in that light, Alexia. You're good and different. Most of the things that have been happening, you shouldn't have to go through it alone. He placed his hand on mine and my heart warmed up. My mom doesn't want me to suffer the same fate as my brother. That's why she has trust issues. She believes that the only way to prevent history from repeating itself would be for me to not fall in love with my love. Luna is supposed to be one of the chosen she-wolves that have managed to gain her trust. That wasn't an issue because Tristan could fall in love with anyone as long as she was a freak. Are you saying that because you want to push Tristan away and bring Harold into the picture? My wolf chimed in. My mood turned sour immediately. "Can I please not be reminded of the mate who ghosted me?" "My apologies," she said before breaking the link. I talked to Tristan some more and gave him some suggestions. "I think it is best to talk to your mom about this. You both should be able to reason from each other's perspective instead of taking difficult measures that would strain the relationship." He nodded his head in agreement. "You are absolutely right, but that would be after this vacation is over. Right now, the only person that I want to focus on is my mate." My cheeks flushed, and I averted my gaze so he wouldn't notice how flattered I was by his remarks. "You really don't know what you want, Lexi. Don't forget that you caught him with Allison before you start falling head over heels for him." Blair was quick to remind me, and my expression changed instantly. Tristan seemed to detect the vibe and brought up the subject as he cleared his throat. "And about Allison." As soon as I heard her name, my hurt and fury began to grow stronger inside of me, and I completely forgot about the delicate subject we had just discussed. "What about her?" I tried to keep myself composed. She was in fact my girlfriend, but I didn't give him the privilege to complete his statement. "Then why were you making out with her?" "Hear me out, Lexi. I wasn't done talking and we have been over this. Anyways, I called her back because I wanted to make you jealous and angry, especially after I found out about you and Nathan. I just wanted you to feel the same pain that I did," he confessed. "You do realize that using another girl's feelings to get back at me isn't fair, right? What if she still had feelings for you? You literally just complicated everything, and now I have another Jess on my case. I could remember my horrible experience with Jess all because of Nathan. Who's next?" As far as I was concerned, King Zach did the same thing, and also Harold. I know I shouldn't have done that. I let my pettiness get the best of me, and I am truly sorry. He apologized with sincerity in his tone. I couldn't blame him for his actions, but it was partially my fault. I was so confused about the whole situation that I got so vulnerable when Nathan started acting right. "I kiss him out of pity," I said softly, almost to myself. "It was my mistake for not telling the entire truth," I admitted. "And also, I didn't know that you would have such a twisted fate as an alpha," I lamented, and he chuckled in response. "Baby, you didn't deserve my sympathy after all." I felt a pang of hurt at his words. What's that supposed to mean? He didn't answer till we drove into the premises of the hotel and suites that we were meant to reside in. He turned to face me, licked his lips, and leaned in closer as soon as he parked his car. "It means I should have given you a bigger punishment, one suitable for an Omega who has been naughty for too long." As I closed my eyes, his fingertips grazed against my skin, sending waves of ecstasy through me. Because it was so difficult to control the heat, I could already envision the tangled, burning moments we could share in the back seat of the car. His fingers drifted to my chest and softly brushed the tight peaks that had risen beneath my clothes. Seems like someone's been craving to get lost in this fire so badly. Yes, I wanted to get lost in the sensation of his touch, for his hands to travel all over my body, exploring every curve as I arched my back. But I wasn't going to let him know. I gently removed his hand and rolled my eyes. "Calm that fiery spring of yours down, Tristan." A smirk played on his lips as he whispered into my ear, sending sparks jolting through my body. "How do you know it's that fiery? You've been stealing glances, haven't you?" "Not everyone is like you, Tristan," I responded shyly. "You're right about that. How about we have a little tour around the hotel before settling into our rooms? Maybe like the cafe." His suggestion was nice, but I had to freshen up first. "Sure, but I would love to shower first," I stated, and his reaction was expected. "Mind if I join in? I mean, it would save water in a way." He rubbed the back of his neck with his smirk still on. Typical Tristan. Tristan's suggestion of taking a shower together caught me off guard. "You really want us to shower together?" I asked in disbelief. He gave me a sly smile. "Why not? We're both adults here, and who knows, we might have some fun." His eyes danced mischievously. I hesitated for a moment, but then I shrugged. "Fine, but no touching." "I mean it," I warned him. Tristan raised his hands in surrender. "No problem, babe. I'll just keep my hands on the soap." I knew I was in trouble. Just the thought of being so close to him, of feeling his warm breath on my skin, sent chills through my body. I knew I might lose all control as soon as his hands touched me. Tristan was one hell of a guy that was so difficult to resist.
We were assigned to an amazing apartment with high ceilings, huge windows, and comfortable sofas and armchairs arranged around a coffee table in the living area, as well as a fireplace. The bedroom included a king-sized bed with luxurious, silky sheets and a giant, puffy blanket. There was also a walk-in closet with wonderful artwork, and the bathroom was equally lovely with marble counters and a large, inviting-looking soaking tub. Tristan must have spent a lot of money on this, and it warmed my heart to know that he wanted me to have the finest vacation ever. I didn't need anyone to tell me that. When I looked back, he was casually leaning against the wall, staring at me with a gaze that made my knees tremble. He had a way of making me feel like I was the only person who mattered in his heart with just one glance. My gaze shifted to his muscular arms crossed over his chest and toned torso. I couldn't help but imagine all the numerous ways he could make me feel in this apartment as he stood there looking like a deity of raw, warm desire. It was just us now. Nobody intrudes on our privacy. So, do you like the space, or do you prefer a change? Despite the fact that I knew the answer, his question fell on deaf ears. Yeah, I do. It's so big. When he shifted slightly, I whispered. My gaze locked on the quiet, insistent ridge beneath his trousers. I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was as if it had hypnotized me. He stepped forward and gently lifted up my chin. Eyes up here, Muffin. As soon as our eyes met, I quickly averted my sight, my cheeks flushing with shame. I had assumed he hadn't seen, but his sly grin proved otherwise. Do you still want to shower together? He inquired with a husky voice that almost gave me away. Yes. I couldn't even form words as I tried so hard not to keep staring. He looked down at it and said, "Don't worry about it. It's just a standing ovation for the idea of us showering at the same time." I swallowed hard, trying not to imagine Tristan pinning me against the bathroom wall, water dripping down our bodies as our breaths tangled in the steam, soft sounds of pleasure weaving through the air. Huh? Like I promised you earlier, I won't touch you just because I burn with desire for you, he restated. A gentleman should never do such a thing, he added with a small smile on his lips which I mirrored. But you aren't gentle with your hoes in school, I pointed out. You're my mate and not a hoe, Muffin. At that moment, I felt a flutter of butterflies in my tummy and I rolled my eyes. If you say so, we should shower separately then. I suggested it and he agreed to it. We were both ready to leave for our date at the cafe in less than an hour, as I wore a knee-length floral dress with a tight waist and a V neckline with short sleeves. I wore it with flats and nice jewelry, and Tristan complimented me on it. You look breathtaking, my love, he asserted. Thank you, I responded, avoiding his eyes as we got to the cafe. The waitress came and we placed our orders. I sincerely love this place, Tristan. I must say you do have a good taste. Imagine how our wedding reception would look like. I froze right there, trying to process what he just said. Was he serious about marking me as his own? He stroked my knuckles softly as he stretched his hand to lock with mine, sending goosebumps to my body. I became obsessed with his touch, intoxicated by his scent, and forgot about the others. His eyes left mine and fell on my neck, making me notice how his Adam's apple bobs up and down before speaking. Can't wait to leave my mark on that pretty neck of yours. As I was about to respond, the waitress came with our tray of latte with whipped cream and chocolate shavings. I was the first to sip, and my eyes rolled back of how good it tasted. The best. I'm glad you like it. Maybe we can play board games or darts afterwards. Of course. We spent the next hour playing Scrabble as we munched on chocolate shavings. I ended up winning and we left for round 2 of playing darts. We got to the corner of the cafe where a dartboard hung. Taking turns to throw darts, I failed twice, which caused him to make a joke of me, but not in a way that hurt my feelings. Let me show how we shoot our shots. He took a step back and he was lucky enough to win, but my eyes caught the sight of how his muscles stiffened. He went ahead to clean off imaginary dust from his shoulders and finished off with a wink. I told you I never miss. Whatever. There was no doubt that I enjoyed the warmth of the cafe and our charming date. I really didn't want it to end because I was scared that I might never see this side of Tristan again after my episode with Harold. It was just best to enjoy the moment, although the memories might be haunting in the future, but it would be worth it. Let me teach you. He got behind me and snaked his arms around my waist, making my breath hitch as his scent intoxicated me. I could feel the firm, warm press of that same ridge against my back through the light material of my dress. but I chose to ignore it. He burns with desire around you, Blair remarked. So do I replied with honesty as a warm, fluttering heat unfurled low in my belly, spreading like soft, glowing embers as I stood so close to him. After several trials and finally getting some marks right, we went back to our table where a pasta dish and a glass of red wine was served on a tray. Just then, his phone rang and I saw his expression turn from relaxed to a deep frown. I could already tell that it was his mother calling since he refused to answer. I think you should talk to her. She might want to know if we arrived safely. You're still her son, so don't get her worried, I advised. He sighed. She's probably going to try to win me back with her tears or state how lonely she has been since my absence. But I will take this for your sake. As he left, I began savoring my pasta alone, twirling my fork around it with an absent mind. I had no idea of the trouble that was lurking around me. It wasn't until I noticed Allison entering the cafe, but I acted as if I didn't know she was. What was she doing here? Or could Tristan have brought me here to embarrass me? Whatever it was, I would surely handle it. She went ahead to shout at me with a loud voice as she got to my table, causing everyone present in the cafe to turn their heads towards us. Well, if it isn't the low-life Omega, I wonder what you did to get him to bring you here. Did you seduce him? I tried so hard to keep my composure because I didn't want her to get the best of me. What now? Cat got your tongue? I doubt it. Just take a look at what you're even wearing, dressed like a modest, innocent girl, whereas you are nothing but a slut, a whore who snatched my boyfriend. She insulted me. You know, for an Omega, you sure do have some guts to think that you will be able to keep my Tristan from me. He's only going to use you as his toy and dump you into the trash can like the rest in the past. Don't get ahead of yourself, shameless whore, she added. She turned to face her friends and chuckled. She's even eating all alone. Where did your Tristan go? Or has he already abandoned you for someone more interesting? I won't be surprised if we walk into him, making out with some girl in the lobby like you saw us earlier. Don't worry, we can always get you another boyfriend if that happens. She suddenly stopped and burst into hysterical laughter which brought a scowl to my face. Oh, wait, my bad. I completely forgot that you're an Omega who stands a high chance of getting rejected, but I am sure that there must be someone out there who would pity you at least. Maybe a dog or a homeless person or even a mad rogue wolf. Someone like you fits into the aesthetics of struggle love. Well, my advice is to keep eating that pasta because it's the only thing that will love you back, but don't get fat though. I wouldn't want you to be too deformed. My blood boiled as I felt rage build up inside of me. How dare her come in here and disturb my peace? All of it was too much for me to bear. I couldn't just let her get away with it because it wouldn't stop here. Without thinking further, I stood up and my hand shot out, landing a stinging slap across her cheek. He gasped in shock and screamed out, "How dare you lay your filthy hands on me?" He reached forward to yank my hair before I blocked her hand and pushed her backwards. I could have swore that I saw fear and hatred flash in her eyes as she called her friends to help. It was finally my turn to cuss back. "You really can't fight on your own. That's a shame for a beta. You should be impeached for your weakness. After all, I am just a mega. No need to get scared," I remarked, and she groaned out of annoyance before charging towards me. "Bloody bastard, I am going to ruin your face." Her claws grew out, and I made sure to dodge severally, which angered her further. Her friends seized my dress and held me still as Allison was about to strike. I struggled to free myself from their grip, but I couldn't. Let go of me. The noise was becoming too much, and it finally pulled the attention of Tristan, who came to separate us. She was so quick to play the game that I never expected as she burst into tears. "What's going on here? Why the heck are both of you fighting? This nasty maid of yours insulted and slapped me," she cried out as she showed him the red marks on her cheeks. "She just attacked me out of nowhere like a mentally deranged wolf, and I also have witnesses who saw everything." Her tone dropped with venom, as I became aware that I was on the point of either proving my innocence or losing Tristan to yet another deceptive scheme. My heart sunk.
Tristan took a step forward, his eyes blazing with rage. "Let go of her," he said, his voice low and threatening. His strong presence filled the room, and my heartbeat increased in my chest. Allison's friend's grip on me loosened, their hesitation visible. A wave of relief and gratitude washed over me as I looked at him. He took a step closer, his frame radiating authority. I said, "Let go of her." As their hands reluctantly released me, I stumbled back into Tristan's comforting embrace. His strong arms wrapped around me, providing safety amidst the chaos. I looked up at him, my eyes filled with a mix of awe and gratitude. "What is the meaning of this?" Tristan's voice boomed, his gaze piercing into Allison's. His words echoed through the room, demanding an answer. "What do you mean by that, babe?" Allison's eyes welled up with tears as she turned to face Tristan. Her voice quivered with a feigned anger and hurt. "This is not fair. You're supposed to be on my side. I demand justice." Tristan couldn't hide the disdain in his voice as he responded, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, justice, huh? Funny coming from someone who knows nothing about fidelity." Allison gasped, taken aback by his cutting remark. "How dare you?" she exclaimed, her voice trembling with disbelief. "I never cheated on you." Tristan crossed his arms over his chest, a bitter smile playing on his lips. "Isn't that what you said to me when I found out about your little affair with Mason? It was just a mistake, you said." "Well, Allison, mistakes have consequences." Allison's face turned pale, her hands trembling as she struggled to find words. I didn't expect you to bring that up," she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. Tristan's eyes hardened as he stared at her. "Maybe it's time for you to understand what it feels like to be on the receiving end of betrayal," he said coldly. Allison's tears fell freely now, her shoulders shaking with sobs. "I never wanted to hurt you," she choked out between sobs. "I thought we could start over, be better than that." Tristan's expression softened slightly, but his voice remained firm. "Some wounds are too deep to heal, Allison. You made your choice, and now you have to live with the consequences. Your chapter in my life is closed for good. Move on and stop harassing my mate, because the next time that this happens, you will be sorry." He gave her a stern warning, but it wasn't over yet. "There shouldn't be a next time to begin," he added. As the chaos unfolded and tension gripped the cafe, a voice from the crowd suddenly cried out, "Wait a minute, isn't that our Luna?" All eyes turned towards me, surprise and recognition lighting up the faces of the pack members. The realization of my true identity spread like wildfire, filling the air with a mix of excitement and awe. Tristan's expression hardened, his gaze sweeping over the assembled crowd. "Yes, she is our Luna," he confirmed, his voice carrying authority. "Alexia holds an important position in Dark Moon Pack, and her status should be accorded with respect. I'm referring to you, Allison. You're the beta but not my Luna. Don't overstep your boundaries, or else I would resort to a measure which you and your minions would not like. There should be peace in my pack and not chaos, but that seems too much to ask when my beta is being unnecessarily bitter and deceitful," he stated. A smile tugged at the corners of my lips as I glanced at Tristan. Who knew that someday an Omega would make a player fall in love? My obsession with him grew by the minute, and I just couldn't help it. I must commend the way he stood up for you. Countless times he has proven himself worthy, Blair remarked as I got reminded of the time that he saved me during the sandstorm. Harold would never. The smile faded that instant, and it got pissed as to why my wolf was hell-bent on taunting me with my other nonchalant alpha mate. I acted like I didn't hear what she said and cut off the link since I wasn't ready to deal with such energy. Nevertheless, she was right. Tristan had proven himself as the pillar of support I had always longed for. Someone who would stand up for me and ensure my voice was heard. One that made sure that no harm came to his Luna, and I loved that for his future queen. He gently clasped his hands around my shoulders, sending a soothing warmth through me. He took me away from the crowd with a hard yet gentle hold, carving a path through the sea of silent bystanders. The power in his embrace, the intensity of his touch, served as a subtle comfort that he will always be there for me. I couldn't help but steal looks at Tristan's profile as we were leaving. His protectiveness and resolve were evident in his set jaw and forward-looking stare. I was truly astounded by his effortless demeanor. Knowing that I had met a mate who would never waver in his dedication and love to me made me feel secure and valued at that precise moment. Do you really love him? Because I can guarantee you that the minute Harold apologizes and confesses his undying love for you, you would surely forget about Nathan and Tristan. Blair's words echoed in my head. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I expressed gratitude as we kept walking. It's nothing. It's just my duty to protect what's mine. I can't let my subordinate behave in such a way to my future Luna. It's you over anybody, he responded. Inasmuch as his words flattered me, I had to be reminded that his mother would never approve of us. I lowered my head to the floor and let out a nervous laugh. You keep calling me that, but your mum will never support our mate bond. Tristan lifted my chin to lock eyes with him, a gentle smile on his face. Speaking of such, my mum is actually waiting for us in the room, he said, his voice warm and reassuring. Huh? You can't be serious, are you? Worry instantly took a toll on me as Tristan mentioned his mother arrival. Memories of our previous clash resurfaced, and I couldn't help but feel anxious about what this meeting would entail. I glanced at Tristan, my brows furrowing with concern. What if things get heated again? I whispered, my voice tinged with apprehension. Tristan's hand found mine, his touch offering a sense of comfort. I understand your worries, Lexi, but my mother is genuinely regretful for her behavior. She wants to make things right between us. His words provided a glimmer of hope, yet the anxiety lingered. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. I hope you're right, Tristan. I want to believe that she's willing to change. Tristan tightened his grip on my hand. I'll be by your side every step of the way. We'll face whatever comes together, Alexia. As we entered the room, Kyra stood there, her body tense. I could see honest repentance in her eyes, a flicker of vulnerability that I hadn't seen before. Her hands fidgeted nervously, a clear sign of her unease. I cleared my throat and greeted her. Good day, ma'am. She took a hesitant step forward. I've realized that I've been too controlling towards Tristan and you as well. I want to apologize for my behavior. I allowed the events of the past to take a toll on my emotions. I seem to have forgotten that there are still good people out there as everybody is different. You seem like a good girl to keep. Her voice started to break and I could tell that memories from the past were flooding her mind. She must have felt the same way about her late son's mate. That's why she was so free-spirited. Her words felt sincere, but her body language told a story of its own. Her shoulders sagged, as if burdened by the weight of her past actions. Her eyes were cast downward, avoiding direct contact, as if she was ashamed. I just felt like if I had behaved the same way with Tristan as I did with my late son, things would have turned out different. I miss him every day and I feel like it's all my fault. As a mother, I should have been able to sense the danger lurking, but I became too comfortable with a rogue in my pack. I failed him and the pack members. They lost their alpha because of me. He broke into tears and my heart sank seeing her in that way. Tristan moved closer to his mother, his arms opening wide. Without hesitation, he pulled Kyra into a warm and comforting embrace. She nestled in, finding solace in his support. Mom, you need to understand that his death was not your fault. You couldn't have known what would happen. It was a tragic event, but it wasn't because of anything you did or didn't do. You were a loving mother to both of us. You did everything you could. Sometimes things happen that are beyond our control. Blaming yourself won't bring Troy back. Tristan is right, ma'am. I'm sure he's watching over you all and surely loves you. I chimed in with the intention to make her feel better. We all miss him, but we have to support each other and find a way to move on. Let's focus on healing together. I'm certain that's what he wants for us. Seeing his mother shed tears would be hard for him as well as for me. It breaks my heart to see you like this. I miss the old you, he spoke in a soft tone. It appeared as though Kyra was finally starting to feel some relief from the grief that had been pressing down on her for so long, and I was glad about it. Alexia, Kyra began, her voice laced with sincerity. I want to thank you for giving Tristan the courage to console me. Your presence in his life has brought about a remarkable change, and I am grateful for that. I think it's time for me to step back and allow Tristan to lead his own life. I've been overprotective, but now, I trust his choices as the future alpha, and I want to support him unconditionally like a mother should. Her words gave me hope and relief as it was a turning point for us all. The room brimmed with reconciliation, and I felt a surge of happiness over her remorse. I accept your apology, future mother-in-law, I replied to her with a wide grin before I got enveloped into a bear hug with them.
The aroma of the meals that I had prepared filled the kitchen, and Tristan, alongside his mother, just happened to walk right in. They sniffed the delicious scent with dreamy eyes, and a wide grin displayed on their lips. How come you never told me that she was a good cook? I can't wait to have a taste," she remarked as she strutted towards the kitchen island where the tray of food was placed. Tristan rubbed his hands together and licked his lips with salivation. "So, what's in for dinner?" I had taken out my time to make lamb chops that have been slowly cooked with carrots and potatoes, which were flavored with rosemary. There was also a special meal for Tristan, which was short ribs braised in a red wine sauce and served with creamy potatoes and roasted vegetables. Standing so close to me, he seductively teased me, "I am sure they taste good as you do." It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up as I tried to hide my blush. For the past few days, they had made sure that I didn't regret my decision to return back to their pack. This dinner was my own way of appreciating and celebrating the little growth that they had made as a family. I requested the assistance of other Omegas in the pack to distribute the food at the dining table when Tristan gave an order that stopped them in their tracks. "Please take ours to the balcony. Tonight is a special one for the future Luna and I." It actually brought warmth to my heart, considering that I was about to have a date with him. "Acts of service over words of affirmation any day," Blair commented. "I think both are important," I countered. "Yeah, sure, but the latter got you used and dumped," she retorted bitterly. My wolf would say anything and everything just to make sure that I developed resentment towards Harold, but it might take extra hard work from her because I was going to get that closure from him. Before the Omegas left, his mother had already dished out a little portion to have a taste, and her reaction was pure gold. "May the goddess bless you, my dear. You have magic in those hands of yours," she complimented. My lips parted into a broad smile. "Thank you, ma'am. I'm glad you like it." "Like? I love this." "Tristan, we should really start preparation for your mating ceremony because I cannot afford to lose her. She's like a blessing sent to put a smile on our faces after so many years," she restated with a sincere tone. "Don't worry, I will do so soon," he assured her, forgetting that I was still present. "You both enjoy your date. I will ask for the details by the morning. Have a lovely evening," she said before exiting. As soon as we were alone, Tristan snaked his hands around my waist and laid soft kisses on my neck, making me breath hard. Tristan. His touch made it so hard for me not to moan loud, but I managed to push him backwards, not in the kitchen. A frown crept on his face, but it vanished seconds after. "Why? It's a warm, intimate spot to lose ourselves. Bending you gently over the counter won't be so bad. I could always lock the door, and they know better than to intrude on the privacy of the Alpha and Luna." I smirked and spoke softly. "We can always share our closeness in your room or the bathtub, but I am too tired. My princess doesn't have to worry about that. By the way, there's a surprise waiting for you in my—" I didn't even let him finish before I bolted off to see what it was. Hopefully it wasn't a prank because he would get it hot from me. A large red box was on the bed, and I froze on the spot, wondering what it could be when I heard his voice behind me. "Don't be shy. It's just the two of us. Go ahead and open it." I did as I was told and unboxed it to find a sexy knee-length dinner gown, matching heels, and a necklace with my name as the pendant. Tears fought to leave my eyes as admiration kicked in. "You bought these for me?" "Yes, and we will go shopping by tomorrow. You can get whatever you want because I want everybody to know that Alpha Tristan took good care of you during the vacation. Nate told me to maintain that glow on your face, remember?" he restated. "Yes, he did," I agreed. "So, get dressed and take your time to look extremely pretty, because I want a fine-ass wallpaper that would make me lose my hose as soon as we get back to the academy," he told me and leaned in to kiss my forehead. Wow, he left to get changed in another room while I quickly freshened up and had a makeover. I could barely recognize myself when I was done. As I stood in front of the mirror, taking in my reflection, a mix of joy and nervousness coursed through my veins. Tristan's surprise gift had left me feeling like a princess, and I couldn't help but be amazed at his thoughtfulness. The dinner gown hugged my curves in all the right places, highlighting my figure. The matching heels added an extra touch of elegance, and the necklace with my name pendant felt like a personal token of his affection. I considered how lucky I was to have a changed Tristan in my life. His current gesture went beyond material things, and it was in moments like these that I realized the depth of his feelings for me. I hoped he wouldn't get confused later and dip like some alpha, I know. Couldn't wait to see the look on his face when he saw me. The compliments he showered me with earlier were still stuck in my head. "Lexi, are you ready? Because I am." I turned around to face him and his eyes lit up immediately before trailing down my body. You look so. He broke eye contact with me and rubbed his forehead before running his hands through his hair. I am one hell of a lucky man. If I didn't know better, I would have surely assumed that you were one of the goddess descendants because of the beauty. Makes my heart run a mile per second. He traced his steps towards me. I can't get enough of seeing you look sexy, elegant, and graceful. Fuck the rest, hoes. They are not worth it. I want you to take my heart and my money. I can't imagine how beautiful you would look when you finally become my Luna. I will soon. You know what they say about patience, I replied to him with a small laugh. I wasn't going to make any promises. May the best man win. Sure. Shall we? He extended his hand and I took it as he led me out of the room. As we stepped out onto the balcony, my breath caught in my throat. The sight in front of me astounded me. The table, adorned with a pristine white tablecloth, gleamed under the glow of flickering candles in crystal holders. The sweet fragrance of the flowers from the nearby garden wafted up the air, mingling with the gentle breeze that caressed my skin. With soft music playing in the background, our dinner acquired the serenity I yearned for. His eyes sparkled with love as he held out a chair for me, his gaze never leaving mine. A flutter of excitement kicked in my stomach, knowing that this evening held the promise of something truly special. Days passed after the cozy times that we had spent together and I felt like it was time to leave. I had stayed the longest with Tristan, but his mother still didn't want to let me go. I loved how caring and loving she became, but I really needed to know the status of my relationship with Harold as it gave me sleepless nights. Yes, I was probably a cunt for letting a guy that didn't care if I was dead or alive occupy my mind. Their love wasn't enough for me, or maybe I needed to see a therapist for wanting a heart that didn't yearn for me. At least, Nathan was kind enough to ask about my well-being and Tristan updated him on it, but there was still no signal from Harold. If he had suffered amnesia on his way to his pack, it would have been more understandable, but not this complete nonchalance. I needed to know why he changed overnight. He told me that he loved me, but his actions said otherwise. It was driving nuts, and the only way to regain my sanity was to deal with the issue face to face. The only problem now was leaving the Dark Moon pack. Not wanting to be consumed by worry, I finally raised the issue. Tristan. Yeah? What's up? He answered, not taking his eyes off his laptop. I went ahead to pour out my heart, and seeing how important it was to me, he shut down his device. His first response almost knocked me over as he chuckled. Did I say anything funny? I am being serious, Tristan. I know. It's just quite funny how you're so confident and bold when it involves Nathan and I, but you seem to lose your voice when facing Harold. Does he make you that vulnerable? I am quite jealous, if I'm being honest. He knew that I wasn't exclusively his own for now, and I appreciated that. Stop being a coward, maybe. Then he would respect you regardless of your rank level. You should also know that he really doesn't care about you, because he would have called countless times just to check on you. Take Nathan, for example, but anyway, I will let you go to his pack so you both can sort each other out. Don't go down on your knees begging for his love when you still have the liberty to be with either me or Nate. Permission was the only thing that mattered, as the rest of his words got into the right and disappeared through the left.